Welcome to your Week 8 Fantasy Football Recap. I'm your host, Krim Barflow. Logan didn't completely embarrass himself against Charlie Burgers. Lord help him if anything bad were to become of Jonathan Taylor. For our next game, it was I Dream of Rain, Io Minor, taking on Aaron's Fuck-Ups. This felt like flat performances all around, as no team had a single player crack 20 points. It was a win for Chris nonetheless, by a final tally of 119 to 81, making Alex this week's Parlay Pony. On to slightly more competitive bouts, it was the critical hits, trying to slow down Mutant Njigba Turtles. Brian put up not one, but 2 goose eggs this week from Isaiah Bond and the seemingly returning to form Quentin Johnston. Keeping his postseason hopes alive, it was Derek securing the upset victory by a final score of 131 to 106. An even more competitive matchup saw Now Here's a Guy taking on Tua Legit, Tua Quit. This was the tightest game of the week, with only 10 points separating these competitors. Despite what might be the single most boneheaded, ill-thought-out, dim-witted, and downright dumb decision that I have ever witnessed in 15 years of fantasy broadcasting, starting Javonte Williams against a stout Denver defense over Breece Hall against the Powder Puff defense from Cincinnati, Grant was still able to come out on top by a final score of 153 to 143. But Krim, I hear you asking yourself, why haven't you roasted John yet? Well, let's find out from PAX Interference.
Thanks, Krim. In a surprising turn of events, the Schmucks are taking part in this week's Game of the Week. But how could such a craptastic team be involved in a prime game, you may ask? Simple. They are absolutely, unquestionably, without a shadow of doubt, utterly and completely destroyed Houday and the Bluefish. When asked to comment, Chuck blew it off and blamed the loss on bye weeks. Only time will tell if this was the case or a sign of grim things to come for the wary manager. Not only did John get the win, but he was also this week's top scoring team by a final of 154 to 126. Back to you, Krim.
Thanks, Pax. And now, let's look forward to next week's bouts. Which of these coaches should be fed to the roaches when Derek meets Logan? Who needs to write a newsletter on how to just be better when Grant and Alex square up? Can John find some good advice and make an upset happen twice when he meets Brian? And which of these 2 liberal boys are poised to make the most noise when Chuck and Chris kiss, kick off? Find out next week. And as always, best of luck, competitors.